Well, do they off-gas some sort of a chemical byproduct of overheated plastic or overheated rubber?
Like, I worked in aquariums for years. Even having any kind of gas pollutants in the local air around the water, they're so sensitive, the water will absorb it and then kill, say, like the coral colony, or sometimes affect the algae colony. So I don't know. That's actually a good possibility.
If I really just killed this colony for something so stupid as forgetting to turn the fan on my quiet box after all this work.
If they're dead. I don't think you'd necessarily need to reboot the entire colony.
Do you think that in just a few days they might rebound if I just keep an eye on the CO2 levels?
I'm inclined to say yes. Yeah.
Okay.
But hot pumps was still just a theory, so we sat down to try and exhaust every possibility, which was exhausting.
One possible way to increase the productivity of microalgae cultures is to reduce the size of the light harvesting antennas and thus lessen the photosynthetic inefficiency associated with the dissipation of excess light absorbed by surface layers of microalgae cultures.
This is why we science YouTubers and creators exist.
There's so many variables, like millions, potentially billions of these little organisms, and they don't want to list them.
Which makes them really ballsy because they're 1 millimeter wide and he's at least 5 millimeters wide.
Jay was a breath of fresh air, but with so many unknowns, we couldn't really draw any conclusions other than give the algae some time, maybe they'll rally. But before his flight, he really wanted a chance in the chamber.
Now I know it's a big scientific no-no to just change test subjects, but
we both weigh about the same, we're close in age, and we'll take whatever happens with a big grain of salt. Besides, it's not every day someone wants to suffer in your place.
Oh, great! That's so great. Oh.
And this is the weird thing about this experiment that I've learned is that it's actually much more common to encounter these levels of CO2 than we realize. Like 3,000, 4,000, you just have a really long session in the bathroom without the fan on, you might be hitting this.
My body's starting to just say, like, hey, something's up. Not quite a headache, but I can detect some very gentle nudges to get some fresh air.
Can you imagine me spending 5 hours and going to 10,000?
Dude, that's OG status right there.
You are going up, you're like 300 parts per million further ahead than I was. Now that could be just because you're talking more, it could be because of your metabolic rate, but basically, the algae is probably no better than it was yesterday. Wow. It might even be a little worse. Pulling out at 1 hour and 40 minutes.
Oh, it's cold out here, oh my gosh.
Jay gave me some much needed support and perspective.
Hey buddy, you got this, bro.
And now, it was time to come up with a strategy.
It's currently Tuesday. Algae test didn't go quite the way I thought it would. Now that could just be that that's limitations of the tanks, but I think they're capable of much more. So we know that the algae is not running optimally, we don't necessarily know why. We have theories, but what I need right now is really a course of action. So what I've decided to do is keep an eye on the algae for a few days, and if it doesn't turn around, then I'm probably going to try and restart the culture again.
But restarting the culture the first time was a ton of work, so I really hoped that the algae would turn itself around, because right now, it was still dumping CO2 into the air.
Here's today's graph, and right there is where I started the algae and closed the door. So the CO2 has only increased with the door closed and it running. It's outgassing CO2.
But the very next day, I had a breakthrough.
What is going on? Is this really happening?
Or at least I thought I did, until I realized that my mini meter was reading like 200 below actual, and that I couldn't successfully recalibrate it. But the next day,
And now it's gone down. It's been hovering down towards 650.
the algae has changed, I think. You know, a part of me was wondering, do I wait another day for them to get even healthier, or do I just jump in and hope that I don't scare them with all my CO2? Looks like we still got our spider friend with her babies. The last few days have been incredibly difficult for me, but I have newfound hope. It does appear that we are currently rising at a rate of about 10 parts per million per minute, which means to get to 10,000 parts per million could take a total of about 15 hours, which is way better than 5.
now I know you're thinking, wow, Joel's big brain finally paved the way to Easy Street. Well, not exactly.
The algae is starting to curve upward, which is not a good sign. That's telling me that it has had its limit of CO2. Reached 2,000 at 11:30, which means it took just under an hour and a half. The last 20 minutes, it's been closer to 330 parts per million per minute. So all of a sudden, something shifted. All of a sudden, the algae's like, nope, no more CO2. Might call this one early because I want to let them rest. I think maybe they're just not ready yet. Maybe I'm stressing them too much.
Now, at this point, I had a theory regarding the decline in performance. You see, those pH strips aren't the most accurate, and I thought, hey, maybe the algae starts in a good pH and then slowly becomes too acidic from all the CO2. So a couple days later, when my digital pH meter arrived, I was ready to start big test number 3.
It's a strange mixture that I'm feeling of optimism and resignation. It's been a demanding process. Yeah, it's like 9 parts per million per minute, so that's a better start. It took us a little over an hour and a half to reach 2,000. I mean, on par with some of our best tests. It is accelerating. Now it's going like 23 parts per million per minute. I'm gonna do a pH test. The pH dropped super quick.
Finally, maybe the gradual drop in pH was the reason for the gradual drop in algae performance.
Good news. It was getting too acidic.
But even though I was prepared to counteract this drop in my next test, I found another issue.
I just recalibrated my pH meter because it had wandered again. So I don't know how reliable this is. I got 6 jugs of buffer solution to make it more basic. I'm losing it just a little bit. Just a little bit.
All these variables, equipment issues, and test after test with no promise of success was starting to get to me, but I had to press on.
Well, we've crossed onto 5,000 parts per million. That means we're about on schedule. So we're in the sweet spot now for the pH, but it doesn't seem to be getting any lower. Maybe as it sits in this sweet spot, maybe it'll turn things around. I think that's a downward curve. I just passed 5 hours. Only a mere 8,700 parts per million. Woo! 20.2. Every additional minute here is one for the history books. All right, it would appear that we have just crossed the line.
Now, since the algae never became too acidic during my tests, and the whole theory was established with a potentially miscalibrated meter, I decided to try and aggressively manage the pH before the test. Like, maybe if the algae spent all day at a perfect 7.5, they would be at their peak performance for the following test, and went through gallon after gallon of solution in a constant battle to stop the pH from creeping back up. I even preheated the room for an entire day to hold it a few degrees higher than ambient at its ideal temperature. I got a newer, nicer pH meter, and I drained some biomass to make room for more buffer solution should it become too acidic. And after all this effort, would I finally have my perfect test?
Well, we just crossed into 2,000 parts per million, so he's not doing well.
So I figured if I'm gonna have my worst test of all, and this was, then I might as well lean into the suffering.
Let's read some comics. Come on, using this sealed room is why people believe the flat earth theory. I'm not sure I understand. How much nitrogen was in your chamber, as air is typically 85% nitrogen? No, it's not. No, it's not. First thing I did when I received my fat salary paycheck was fix my teeth. Use some of that YouTube money to fix the crackhead vibe you're putting out there, bro. No, I've got better uses for my loads of YouTube money. It is common knowledge that this plant, as well as many others, produces oxygen at night. I didn't know that was common knowledge, even if I took into account that they have a cam cycle, with the night, and I give them time to acclimate, and I better lighting. It's just not going to make that much of a difference.
Now, my first video had started with a social media post saying that you only needed 6 to 8 snake plants to breathe in a sealed room, according to NASA, and this comment reminded me of something important.
I didn't make this very clear in my last video. When they say according to a NASA study, that study was taking a look at the ability of certain houseplants to purify the air, not to convert carbon dioxide into oxygen. This is just another social media post that takes something out of context. Talking costs more oxygen as well, so yapping constantly for the video has an effect on the timer. Another aspect not considered is that plants and algae need sunlight for photosynthesis and produce oxygen from CO2, so in a basement or spaceship without windows or artificial sunlight will not let the plants produce oxygen. This is where you failed in the research. You actually did not do around basic middle school biology class. A few things. So middle school, I was homeschooled, so yes, I might very well have missed a lot of things. No, I'm just kidding. My mom did a good job. I guess as far as the lights, I'm using grow lights. You could argue I needed to use more, but they seem to be working well for this algae, which has never seen sunlight. As far as yapping, yeah. I'm yapping. I have to make a video. This is how I make a living. If I did this whole test just for my own edification, that'd be great if I was loaded and I could afford to do that. I'm not loaded, I can't afford to do that. I can barely afford to do what I'm doing, which is trying to produce an interesting exploration of this idea and trying to do my due diligence to actually do a good job. It's a difficult thing to manage, and I have to talk. So yes, I understand that is another variable that might be confounding ultimately, but at the end of the day, tough shit.
Yeah, you can basically say whatever you want about the nature of my sanity at this point in the process.
We've been going up by over 50 parts per million per minute. The system is running so shitty. I think this is what I needed. I needed it to do so poorly that I just was like, yep, we're done. Because honestly, I'm done. I think I'm done.
So yeah, I wasn't done.
All right, so I think I've gone about as far as I can go with chlorella. At this point, I think I would need to restart the culture. There's just too many variables that have been introduced. There's too many potential issues. But if I'm gonna restart it, I have the opportunity to potentially try something new. I know it's maybe not the smartest thing to throw in a whole new variable, but I also have spirulina. I have this kit that I've been growing that I got from Dan.
So yeah, remember when I said that there was a company that sells photobioreactors for your home? Well, helpful Mr. Dan actually co-founded that company. And after chatting with him, I was like, okay, your product seems solid enough, but why aren't you doing something to help the DIY crowd? And he was like, well, it's almost done. I'll send you the prototype. And he did. This little guy is the first Eduarium. Weird name, but great idea. It uses this clever adapter to transform a regular 2-liter bottle into a photobioreactor.
Now, if a kit similar to this sounds cool to you, Dan and I are actually doing an awesome collaboration, but I'll tell you more about that later.
Now, just because this prototype was quickly becoming dense with spirulina, does that mean I should really take it to the big leagues?
It's a tough decision. I feel like I need an independent third party to give me advice, like somebody who would know all the stats, like which of these algae would reign supreme, which of these is the best, but like who.
So Patrick,
Hey.
I brought you here because you are the creator of the channel Tirzu on YouTube. So you have different animals squaring off, you give them stats. You're comparing biological elements. So for you, this is a simple question.
Okay.
Which would win in a fight? Chlorella vulgaris or spirulina? Go.
What is that? I've never heard of any animals named Chlorelina? Spirulina?
Okay, so maybe this was all just a clever excuse to hang out with Patrick, because at this point, I didn't really care what anyone said, I was just going to send it. But after hanging out, I was filming some final sexy shots of the algae before it had to be drained, when I made a careless mistake.
My gosh! Just spilled my spirulina. I just spilled it. This is my spirulina. It's gone underneath all my pile of stuff. I was gonna do all the tanks today, and I just needed to film some cinematic stuff before I drained it all out. And then I feel wet on my sock, and it shouldn't have been on the floor in the first place. I'd done some filming where I was showing it to someone, and I just left it there because I just didn't even.
Now, dumping a full 2 liters of spirulina into 200 gallons of water and nutrients was already a long shot, since you don't want to dilute your culture by more than like 90%. So I took what was left of my spirulina in an attempt to grow it in a 2-gallon phase and then a 15-gallon phase. So even though I was running out of time, I would have to wait a bit longer. So I figured,
If I have to wait, why not restart the chlorella one more time? I'm draining the algae. I'm gonna refill it, I'm gonna give it fresh media, and we'll give that, a few days. I'm gonna test it religiously. I'm giving the chlorella one last ditch attempt
while I grow the spirulina. The culture had become so dense that you couldn't even see the light when it was sitting next to an empty tank. Meaning, this reboot was well warranted, and the spiders seemed to concur. Now, since the tanks were going to be refilled with water again, I decided to do one more water-only test just to be sure that it didn't have a major effect, especially since now I would be able to run with all the tank lights on and the extra pump running that I had added somewhere in the testing chaos of trying to fix the algae. I feel weird mentioning the pump in such an offhand manner, and I would have told you about it sooner, but there's like a bajillion things that I've done for this video and random details that I just don't know how to fit in without making it insanely long.
What's that smell?
But so many people commented about the water that since we had to dechlorinate anyway, I knew it was worth doing it one more time.
At this time, we're just testing the water with the lights and with the additional pumps. I'm willing to be proven wrong. I want to be doubly sure that the water is not acting as a battery. There's a tiny bit of algae in these tanks too, just a teeny little bit. But I don't think that's going to make a difference.
And it turns out that my timing was impeccable because I got to witness something magical?
When did this happen? Is this like the Mister? Is this Mr. Spider? Oh wow, those spiders, they are going at it. They are like straight up having sex right now. Hang on a second. Alright, we're at 49.53. So just shy of 5,000 parts per million, and we're at $1.50.
So the water dropped by 1 pH, and I don't know, maybe it was the magic in the air, but it did get a slightly better rate than last time. And now that the water had gotten its best possible test, I really wanted one of these algae to give me their best possible test. So here we are, it is a Wednesday morning. I restarted the algae on Monday. Does seem like the CO2 is going down in the room. I closed the door with it running. It is going down slowly. So I'm gonna give it a test. Maybe this is the time. Probably not. I'm gonna try it again.
Welcome to Algae Boy. Test number, who knows? 882 is what we started at, which means we've gone up very little. Very little.
I almost didn't know what to think. It was so unexpected, but this time something seemed different.
Alright, we haven't even broken 1,000 yet, and we're at almost 25 minutes. 100 parts per million in 25 minutes. It took us almost 30 minutes to get to 1,000. What is going on? This algae is insane right now. I would have thought it was way too undersaturated. I don't want to like run around and produce more CO2, but I want to make sure this room is truly sealed, so I'm going to check over everything. It just dropped down to 988! Dropped down to 988, and it's over 30 minutes. What? I double-checked the tape and redid some of it even, and it looked fine. It didn't look bad. Even if there was a tiny leak, it wouldn't make this much of a difference. This is insane. This is insane. This is insane. Yeah, we've gone up by just under 200 parts per million in 37 minutes. I think it might actually be working.
Rates like this were incredible. If it held steady at 4 parts per million per minute, it would take nearly 40 hours to reach 10,000 parts per million. But low rates had always increased over time, and this test followed that trend.
Okay, so it is now 2 hours and 10 minutes. Still haven't crossed into 2,000 parts per million. The first hour was 4.7 parts per million per minute. Now we're at 8 something, so it is accelerating, but it might find a new equilibrium. 8 is still tremendous. You know, 10 is the best that I basically had before. 2044, it just jumped 2 hours and 25 minutes. That's insane. That's by far the slowest it's ever gone up. I should note that even though CO2 is going up very slowly, oxygen is going down at a fairly normal rate. That's a little concerning. That might limit my time in here. Almost 4.5 hours, and we're at 4350 parts per million. It looks like for the last hour, we've been holding at about 20 parts per million per minute, which is good, which is better than 30. That combined with our early start of like 5 and then 10 and slowly crept up, this is a tremendous start for CO2. I could set a great record, except that the oxygen in the room is at, 20.2. 4 hours and 45 minutes to reach 5,000 parts per million, as opposed to, an hour and a half, an hour and 45 minutes. So more than double. All right, so for the last half hour, it looks like we've been doing about 26 parts per million per minute. So it is climbing up to the usual rate, just slowly. We're doing very well. It is a curve, so I guess that does kind of fundamentally disprove my understanding.
Yeah, at the end of my last video, I thought that the CO2 would stop going up somewhere in the habitable zone. But it seems like this limited amount of algae just doesn't have the horsepower. And even though we started this test in a sprint, eventually it had to slow down.
And maybe we could keep it in that state where we're only going up by like 5 parts per million per minute. But I don't know how. Oh geez, the oxygen's at 20%. We're less than an hour away from my previous record.
This was now a major success in my book, and I couldn't wait to see how much longer I could stay in this room. But just like the algae needs food, so do I.
I got a funny story. So in here, I have some very cold sandwiches that my wife made me. These are some beaten up sandwiches because I've been bringing them in here every time I've been running a test, hopeful that it would go long. So I'm gonna eat one of these delicious, lovingly made sandwiches. Oh, that is a good meal. It was made with love, been taken in and out of the freezer about 6 times, and it's an indication of some level of triumph.
And so as I awkwardly ate my sandwich in my tiny green glowing spaceship, I found myself becoming a bit overwhelmed.
The problem with being on the precipice of success is that it often looks like the precipice of failure. And the amount of times that I felt like a failure over the last, months is substantial. So this lunch was particularly meaningful. It hasn't even been worth it to take the time to eat a lunch in here before. Work hard for your food, man. It'll taste so much better.
Wise words, Joel. Wise, weird words.
Thank you for being with me.
And speaking of being with me, the man who laughed at my first bioreactor, calling it a piss bottle, was on his way. Mr. Quincy Sandbank himself.
I'll see you soon, buddy.
Okay.
It's 6.5 hours.
How are you feeling? You've been in here not only for like over 6 hours today, but how many times have you done this?
This is my 3rd time going over 5 hours. I don't feel much different than normal. Maybe a little ready to get out, but I don't know, as far as suffering goes, this isn't that bad.
It's amazing how when you say, how could this get much worse, it starts raining. Or when you say, this isn't so bad, Quincy starts flossing for a very, very long time. Nah, but seriously, Quincy has helped me out with so much stuff, and he has way too few subscribers for the level of quality of content that he makes, so you should definitely check out his channel after this video.
This increase in speed, we're going up 34 parts per million per minute, which is a bit accelerated.
I'm done.
Alright. The oxygen meter just beeped because I think for the first time it went to 19.4, but it's at 19.5 still. It's just right on the edge. And it's at 6 hours and 53 minutes. So we're just shy of 7 hours, but at the same time we got the CO2. The CO2 is getting close to 10,000 as well. We're actually synced up quite well.
It is truly preposterous that there's green goo in there that's prolonging your life in there.
By a significant margin. The longest I can stay in there without it is about like a little over 3 hours to get to these same levels.
So yeah, stay in here forever? No. Stay in here for twice as long? Big yeah. And I feel more confident about these results. I would guess that you would need like 2 to 3 times as much algae to stay in here indefinitely. And at that point, I'd be redesigning my little spaceship just to fit it all. But before I tell you exactly how long I was able to stay, I gotta admit that some of you were right. I got multiple warnings in my comments and from Dan about just how fragile that algae are and the possibility of culture crash. And unfortunately, whether it was from being knocked over, or I screwed up the media preparation, or bacteria got in, or one of many other possibilities, my spirulina didn't survive the transfer to a larger tank. But the good news is that by the end of this video, Dan should have finished development on the Eduarium prototype, and you can pick up where I left off with some of your own experimentation. Just don't seal yourself in a room. Your purchase will help support my channel through commissions, and Dan's a great dude, and he and his partner are trying to do something really cool in the algae space. So whether you get the kit, a spirulina starter, or a full-blown arium, it's gonna help us both, and hopefully you'll learn something about algae, because they are way more complex than I ever could have imagined. There's even an option to buy just a spirulina starter with 3D print files if you want to make the parts yourself, and you'll get 20% off anything using my links in the description below. You'll also find my Patreon and PayPal there if you just want to support me more directly, but even just liking and subscribing is a massive help, because this is what I do for a living. And even though it kicks my ass, I love doing it. My final record in the chamber was 7 hours and 5 minutes, and no, that's not a whole day, but it's a whole lot more than just the water. And while I'm open to the idea of scaling this up in the future, after 9 months of growing algae, I'm ready to turn my attention to other things. Like whatever my wife has been growing for the last 9 months. I don't really know how to end an epic saga like this, so I won't. But let me just say to everybody who commented or helped or even just offered to help, thank you. And I'll see you all next time.
What's going on, Quab Goblins? Welcome back to another Q stream. Today, I am visiting my good friend Joel Creates, and he's been in the stasis chamber for over 6 hours, sustaining his oxygen with algae plants. And let's see how he's doing. Alright guys, that's going to do it for this stream. I hope to see you again later. Make sure to subscribe to my OnlyFans.
Deep inside my basement, there is a small sealed room. It's the inside of a simulated spaceship, and it's filled with 200 gallons of bubbling green algae. This algae is contained in 4 separate photobioreactors, which I built from scratch to serve one specific purpose: to make breathable air. Otherwise, I'm gonna run out. Because this room is gonna be sealed with me inside it.
You guys have always been asking me where I get my wallpapers.
Nobody asked.
It's called panels.
Marquez Brownlee is coming under fire, and it doesn't appear that everyone is on his side this time.
After teasing it on Twitter, he finally released the app, and it was a paid wallpaper app.
He just released a shameless cash grab.
Golden rule of the internet: never try to charge for something that was already free.
Marquez Brownlee, more commonly known by Will Smith as Mark Ass Brownlee,
It's rewind time. Fortnite and Marquez Brownlee.
Is this what you wanted?
is recently getting a lot of flack for a new app that he's trying to promote. Now, Marquez is someone that I feel is like one of YouTube's golden boys. He basically never gets involved in any kind of drama, but recently, if you go into the comments section of his latest video, they are cooking him hard. And this is because he's trying to release an app that is basically a glorified wallpaper. You know, maybe if this was a concept back in 2010 when you had, like, you know, iPod touches, maybe he'd be praised for his efforts. Honestly, if we really did want a 2010 renaissance to happen, all you'd need to do is re-release that drinking beer app that everyone was like fixated over. And also, do you remember the gun app as well? You can have like an actual gun that fired for some reason on your phone. Or you could just install none of those and install iFunny. Now, if you're not aware, Marquez is obviously one of the most popular YouTubers on the platform. His content revolves around tech. He looks at products, usually up-and-coming ones, does a review, does a comparison. Usually, he's the guy that you watch when you buy something, and then you start looking up reviews of the purchase you made. Why do you do that? God, you're so weird, bro. That sucks. No, seriously though, I don't know why everyone does that. It's like you buy something, you've made the active decision, and then you like start looking up reviews of it as like a confirmation bias thing. It's like you've already wasted the money, bro. So the majority of content that Marquez covers is tech-related content, but for the most part, he does seem to be genuinely very unbiased. Now, Marquez has a huge following to the point that if your product is spoke bad about, chances are it could actually kill your company or do irreparable damage. That has happened in the past when Marquez has covered content that he hasn't really liked, and then like sales or shares of said company or product have basically tanked overnight. And I think one reason why Marquez is respected so much is because he does come across as very unbiased, to the point that, you know, if he doesn't like something in a product or he feels the improvements, for example, if a new phone comes out and last year's phone is pretty much exactly the same, he will say, you don't need to buy this. It's a complete waste of your time. I mean, there are other tech YouTubers as well, like iJustine. No hate to iJustine, but I swear she probably has in a clause, if she speaks bad about an Apple product, she will be kidnapped. Honestly, like, no hate to iJustine, by the way. I went on her channel and looked at her oldest videos. She's been doing YouTube for like the best part of 20 years. YouTube has actually been a thing for nearly 20 years. God, I'm old. God, that sucks. I've been looking on some of her oldest videos and she's been doing content since like 2006. So I was unironically 9 years old when her first video came out. And one thing that Marquez is most popular for are very brutal reviews he does, where he straight up says this product sucks. He's talked about Humane, Rabbit, these tech products that don't really change the game at all. They're just completely useless. Most people would avoid talking about it, or they'd say good things if they got a sponsor, but Marquez, he will just straight up say this sucks. And I mean, I get it. It's not like Marquez is the bravest person in the entire world, because as we know, negativity gets spread around more than positivity. So for example, this is why commentary channels are so based around negativity, because if they talked about positive things or good things, no one really cares, unfortunately. And that really is like a really unfortunate truth that I don't think people really like to talk about. But yeah, Marquez is basically the same as any other YouTube channel, knowing saying something negative will basically get more views. I mean, for example, him talking about the Rabbit product, I didn't know what that product was. I saw a couple of ads for it on TikTok and I didn't really care. And if I saw a review from him being neutral or positive, I would have clicked on it. But then seeing, you know, how negative it is in the title, it's like, ooh, I gotta watch now. I gotta see how bad it is. He's also interviewed some huge players like pre-mental breakdown Elon Musk, the current CEO of Apple, Tim Cook, most recently known to Donald Trump as Tim Apple.
We appreciate it very much, Tim Apple.
So you can't argue that he probably is the single biggest tech YouTuber. And one thing we know about YouTubers is they love money. I swear, like 2015 and before that on YouTube, most YouTubers would write a book.
But now, Fortnite Ninja has delved into the world of literature, releasing his own book titled Ninja, Get Good, My Ultimate Guide to Gaming.
I have noticed that YouTubers are selling books less and less, because I genuinely just think, like, with the inclusion of TikTok and stuff now, people's brains are too rotted. Honestly, when I'm out in public and I see someone reading a book, I think that they're from like another dimension, some 500 IQ individual that actually has the time to read pages. I think the last book that I read unironically was like a video game instruction manual. But, you know, a lot of YouTubers, they end up doing food and drink products now, right? Like, we've got Lunchleys with Mr. Beast. By the way, again, no hate to KSI, but like after covering that video talking about the Lunchly stuff, and so many other YouTubers did as well. If you don't know, Lunchly is a competitor to Lunchables that Logan, KSI, and Mr. Beast are doing right now. No one liked it, mostly because Dan TDM went off on them saying how messed up it was. And then, you know, KSI clapped back in a very childish way, just showing some like collectible figurines that Dan made. So the entire internet has basically gone against them. You go in the comments section of any of their videos, just terrible. Quick little update on that, by the way. KSI quote tweeted him again saying, he was talking about food, JJ. He was sponsored, then promoted, and made a whole video on Munch Pack, a monthly sub box full of food and candy to his Minecraft audience full of kids. Now what? And then the readers added context, which absolutely obliterated third channel 9 years ago. He did also not create or have any stakes in Munch Pack. So yeah, you can really tell they were scraping the bottom of the barrel there, just talking about how, oh, like, look at this thing he did 9 years ago, kind of cringe. And then he ended up doing a video on his second channel called Everyone Hates Us Right Now, and the entire thing is just mold. Like you can see the dislike ratio as well. People did not like this.
You mess with Dan TDM, you mess with YouTube. For me, that's cringe.
There are other brands as well, like Emma Chamberlain having her coffee brand. Jacksepticeye also has a coffee brand as well. Moving into consumable products seems to be the new wave of a thing to do for YouTubers. So obviously, it was only a matter of time before Mark Brown Lee threw his hat into the ring to bring out his own product. Now, a lot of people don't know this, but before this whole drama, he did actually have a previous collab with a brand called Atoms. That was a shoe collab, but to be fair, that was a collab. This, what I'm about to talk about now, is an entire brand new product made by Marquez. Now, this all started back on the 22nd when Marquez hinted on his Twitter account he was going to be releasing an app. And then at the same time as dropping a review of the latest iPhone, he then tweets out the announcement of his new app called Panels. Now, the app itself is fairly straightforward. It's basically just an app that has all kinds of options for wallpapers and people to choose from. I mean, personally, I never really understood the appeal of like having custom wallpapers through an app. You can just kind of get an image and then set it as a phone background. I mean, if you look here, this is my phone background I got here. It's very normal. Waiting for it to focus in. Yep, very normal phone background there. Dude, I've unlocked my phone so many times in public, and then I just get an absolutely disgusted look by whoever's sat next to me. Rightfully so. Now, one of the biggest benefits of panels was basically artists would be able to submit their work, and then it would be a split revenue share system where the artist actually gets paid for their time. So this source's new talent gets them to stay on the platform because they're being paid. So this sounds really, really good. What's the problem with it? The problem is, if you want to download high quality versions of any of these wallpapers, you need to pay for a premium subscription called Panels Plus. And Panels Plus, for basically a glorified wallpaper engine, is really expensive. It's $11.99 per month or $49.99 a year. That is insane. Expensive. I really don't think the team that Marquez hired, or maybe he himself, understood that, like, no one has any money right now. I mean, I'm saying this while wearing Darkwood merch that you could buy right now to support the channel. Just the double standards. Now, the split that the artists get for submitting their artwork and it being used is really good. It's a straight 50-50 split. But at the same time, I can't help but feel that this is like an American diner situation where it's like you're kind of forced to tip. So the person serving you gets a fair wage because the boss doesn't really want to put the wage on themselves. I mean, there definitely has to be a better solution than paying $12 a month just for phone wallpapers. And as well, like I said, there is a free version, a non-premium version, but that does come with ads. And imagine having to watch like 2 ads just to unlock the standard definition version of a wallpaper. Especially to unlock a wallpaper that's just the color orange. So you have to pay quite a lot of money to get access to this app, or just watch loads and loads of ads. I mean, to be fair, it kind of functions like most apps where they have a free version that spams you with ads to the point that you're basically losing years of your life to avoid paying like $5. But then again, it's like, for what the app is offering, $50 a year is insane. Now, a lot of people did notice this as well, which they really didn't like. Apart from, you know, paying the fee or watching the ads, this app actually tracks a lot of your data as well as your location. Now, I'm not really sure why it does that. Maybe to sell it onto advertisers so they can make more money, or maybe they just want to make sure that you're safe when you have your orange wallpaper on. I mean, here you've got someone on Twitter basically saying, "I'll be honest, I lost a bit of respect for Marquez. Immediately asks to track app activity. Also tracks location. Has terrible design and animations. Ads are absolutely everywhere. $50 a year subscription. The wallpapers aren't even that good." And then as well, apparently they were like extremely lazy with the config names when you look into the coding of the app. Like someone called Lunascape on Twitter showing some of the code, and they are just using literally random letters. Like it literally is the equivalent of like how people on Tumblr would talk, or like women in TikTok comments, how they just like mash on the button like, "Oh, I'm screaming, I can't." FD, 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 FD. If you speak like that, you should be shot, by the way. In a video game. And apparently the security on the app wasn't very good either. So people were actually able to steal all of the high quality versions of the wallpapers with no issues. So they didn't even need to pay. They basically just got into the back door of the app and stole everything. Now, Marquez is claiming that the app was built from scratch. There wasn't like any kind of foundation or template being used, and that could be why that there's some issues, like people stealing the entire thing that you're charging them for. But then people have been comparing the UI to another popular wallpaper app called Backdrops. Backshots. We should call it backshots. Or showing how fast that they made their version of panels by using OpenAI in 10 minutes. That's crazy. Obviously, I'm not condoning that at all. It is just another reminder that AI is absolutely terrifying, and it is coming for your job. People also started to immediately pull up tweets of Marquez, like very old tweets. For example, one of him back in 2016 saying, "Golden rule number 1 of the internet, never try to charge for something that was already free," which obviously is a huge irony because wallpapers are free. I mean, my wallpaper's commissioned art, but most people won't have that as a wallpaper. They'll just use a free one or a picture they took. There were even rumors going around, by the way, with absolutely no proof whatsoever, certified Twitter moment, that Panels was actually a pre-existing app and it was just taken and repackaged. And that all stemmed because the Panels Twitter account said it was made back in November 2021. However, Marquez actually clarified that the Twitter account is old because they grabbed the handle from an inactive account, but still saying that the app was made entirely from scratch. Again, again, it really does amaze me how much flack Marquez is getting right now. Do I think it's deserved? I don't think it's it's not an app I would use personally, and I think $50 a year for basically wallpapers is insane. But for someone that usually stays away from drama, I mean, he's gave negative reviews before, but people have always trusted his word. But this is the first time I've seen online, pretty much ever, that he's getting a lot of pushback. Like I said, again, if you go into his YouTube comments right now, they are absolutely cooking him. Now, one thing I do want to point out about Marquez, which I think it should really be respected, is he was very quick to respond to this. You know, he hasn't been waiting a while, like for example, Mr. Beast or Cody Co, even though there's a, you know, much more serious damning allegations. But Marquez took the opportunity to respond to all of it pretty much as soon as possible, putting a tweet out yesterday. Part of building in public is getting mass feedback immediately, which is pretty dope. Almost exactly like publishing a YouTube video. First thing we're doing is fixing the excessive data disclosures, as people rightfully brought up. For transparency, we'd never actually ask for your location, internet history, etc. The data disclosures that everyone is screenshotting is likely too broad and largely driven by what the ad networks suggest. Working to fix that ASAP. As far as pricing, I hear you. It's our own personal challenge to work to deliver that kind of value for the premium versions. Weekly Friday drops are starting already. I'll also be dialing back the ad frequency for the free experience. Much more to come. I appreciate you all. Now, to be fair, that's pretty based, right? Like, he shut down pretty much every single criticism people had. It's too expensive. I mean, that is a really good response. He basically shut down 99% of all the criticisms. I mean, he talked about the ad frequency. He talked about all the stupid data laws or the data collection. He's getting all that removed because apparently it came in just as standard when promoting these kinds of apps. Now, one thing I noticed that he did not say is he is not lowering the price. He basically said, I'm not lowering the price, but I'm going to make it worth your while by, you know, having like Friday drops of wallpapers. But yeah, honestly, it's really refreshing to see a YouTuber, you know, have some drama and basically just put their hands up and be like, yep, okay, we messed up. You know, he didn't try to like weasel his way out of it or try to justify it. Obviously, in the most PR trained way possible, he has said he isn't lowering the price, which is going to make a lot of people unhappy because I think the price is the main reason that people got annoyed, because if you don't want to pay that price, then you're using the free version, then you're getting the ads. But obviously as well, he is directly taking a pay cut because if he's pumping less ads on the free version, that's going to be less income. He also went on to explain his reasoning for wanting to make the app in the first place, saying that his viewers have been asking him for a very long time to make one. He even said the target market for this is insanely small. Most people don't download a wallpaper app. This is for those who've been asking. If you're not into it, don't worry about it. He also went on to confirm that artists are actually getting a share of the subscription tier, and then as well going on to say the app is already free with ads and you need to be at least 9 years old to download the app. I mean, if anything, that's more of just a horrifying reminder that there are people under the age of 9 that have regular access to the internet. I keep forgetting, like every toddler, as soon as they're squirted out, they literally just put on an iPad to play Roblox on. So yeah, overall, I'm doing the Mr. Beast thing again. Stop it! Stop it! I will not do the Andrew Tate hands. That's cringe. That's so cringe. But this goes to show that Marquez is actively taking the steps to improve the app. He's not like, you got me. All right, dead app. Let's move on. And he didn't lash out like other creators have. KSI in particular. I mean, does it?
YouTube fix the comment section. One thing I wish was like fix the comment section is they chat on it like last forever. No one can hear me. You need to like last forever. It's like really weird. Just 1 2 minutes. That's why my voice is dying. Anyways, yeah, you need to like that should like last forever, man. Like it's really concerning that just do that.
excuse the fact that the app is $50 a year? No, definitely not. Like, honestly, I will never understand a justification for that. But again, like, even he admitted himself, barely anyone uses a wallpaper app. I don't really understand the reasoning behind it. But, you know, he's not being obnoxious, deflecting, like how KSI was, saying, well, okay, Lunchley's is bad for you, but look, you promoted candy as well. That's cringe. A lot of people have jumped on this saying it's a scam. I don't think it's a scam. I think it's just another way for another YouTuber to make more money, despite the fact that they have tens of millions in the bank. But at the same time, I mean, there will be a few select members of his audience that will genuinely want to use that app, probably just to support him. And I think one of the reasons why Marquez is being so cordial about this and being, you know, so self-adamant that like, yeah, okay, we did make a mistake, we've heard your feedback, is because he's known as the reviewer guy. If the reviewer guy releases his own product and then he, you know, starts like having a breakdown because people are attacking his product, then that, like, the entire mask is going to slip. So he's kind of forced into a position where he has to respond in a mature manner. But I also don't think it's forced. I think from like watching his videos, obviously I don't know the guy in person, but he always seems to be very calm, very collected. So it makes sense as to why when he's thrown into criticism, he then maintains that persona. I mean, will this app last? Will it be even profitable? Who knows? It could be taken down, like, for example, Jake Paul's Team 1000 program a couple of years ago. By the way, if you don't know what Team 1000 is, Jake Paul basically tried to copy Andrew Tate and did like his own self-help course, how to be an influencer. Drew Gooden did a very good video, a deep dive in this 4 years ago. Jesus, that was, I swear that was only like 2 years ago. I'm rushing to the grave. Actual speed run. Drew Gooden also uploaded another very good video.
Old. God damn. It was like 2 years ago. God damn, 4? Fuck.
Recently titled "Everybody Wants to Waste Your Time," talking about how, you know, people don't get to the point, how they milk certain topics and videos. And then he makes this comparison about like a video that's way too short, like Mr. Beast length, and then a video that's way too long. And I checked the timestamp of the way too long one, and I thought, that looks a little bit familiar. And I referenced it with the thumbnail, and it's the Darkwood video. He directly referenced the Darkwood video. But funnily enough, Drew was actually one of the characters in Darkwood. He did have a cameo in it. He's one of the YouTubers I reached out to. He was really friendly to, you know, talk to, and he got me the lines as quick as he could. But yeah, is Darkwood too long? Yeah, it is. It's too long. Now, I want to talk about AI because, of course, I do. I love to moan about it. So, some people actually brought up to Marquez, can artists use AI? And then Marquez gave a kind of vague response saying it's up to the artist to decide that. But then obviously you have that whole problem with AI art where it's like, you know, someone can be a graphic designer, design the best looking phone background ever, and then an AI artist can just type in a few lines and prompts and it generates something that looks exactly the same. And they would still be getting the exact same amount of money for basically less physical effort. And especially because they're trying to push so hard that, you know, artists have a voice. There's like a revenue sharing system that's 50-50. I can see a lot of artists molding that they put like, you know, 20 hours into designing this phone background only for someone to type in poop, fart, stinky butt chungus, critical video, and then they just get the exact same result. So then you have a problem if they're not stamping out AI content. There could just be AI slop absolutely everywhere. And then it might make people think, why am I using this app when people are just typing in prompts and paying $50 a year? What, can't I just do this myself? And personally, I feel that if you've got like a bunch of AI artists on there, not actual genuine artists like traditional or digital or, you know, graphic designers, I do think then the cost of what you're paying for should really go down because the quality overall is probably going to go down. So it will be interesting to see how Mark Brown Lee and his team will improve panels going forward. I mean, honestly, I see two outcomes of this. One where he wins all the love and attention from the people again, and then the second one where people kind of just slowly forget about this and move on. And that's like, either of those are probably the outcome that Marquez would want. I really can't see him being vilified by this. I mean, even me looking into it, like, yeah, the comments on his channel right now are absolutely roasting him, but like, it's not gonna last. I mean, you got people commenting saying, no one's paying $50 a year for a regular wallpaper app, little bro. This app is so incremental that people are just ignoring the phone and making fun of your app. It's a rare occurrence that MKB is actually getting cooked in his own comments section. Thanks for keeping me safe. My Uber driver was sketchy, but then I remembered you're tracking me through your wallpaper app. This subscription culture has to stop. So yeah, like, he's being absolutely cooked. Is it gonna last? Probably not, honestly. I feel like most people that were giving him like flack probably won't buy the app in the first place anyway. But I mean, I do agree. It's like subscription models, they suck. Like, for example, Photoshop, right? Photoshop, I feel like like now you need to basically pay a monthly fee. I know this sounds really stupid, and this is coming from like a place of like, you know, privilege because I'm a multi-billionaire, but I would literally rather pay like 5 grand and have Photoshop for life. And then I get all future versions of Photoshop for free, as opposed to having to constantly pay this subscription, because subscription models, they are purposely built to make money off your negligence. Imagine right now how many things you're subscribed to right now that you probably don't even use. I mean, a good example is like me, right? On Amazon, right? I paid like extra money to get access to Shudder, which plays like a bunch of garbage horror films. I think I just wanted to see like one of the VHS films or something, and I still need to cancel my Shudder subscription, but it's so easy to do it. You know, you're on the TV, you got your remote out. Oh, let me just, oh, I don't even need to add my card. It does it for me. Oh, great. But then to cancel it, I'll need to log in on a desktop and then go through a process. They purposely make subscription models to play on your negligence, because eventually you will forget. You'll forget that you're subscribed to something unless you're very frugal with your money, and then it'll slowly be eating into your account and you're not really getting anything out of it. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Hey, Will Smith. How'd you say his name again?
Marquez Brownlee.
You guys have always been asking me where I get my wallpapers.
Nobody asked.
Hee hee. I'm horny. Shut up! Shut up! Don't speak. Don't speak. I'm horny. I'm horny. Shut up! No. No. You're not allowed to be horny. Putting a moratorium on being horny personally. We're not allowing that to go down. Whatever that is. No. This video about Cinny Bear, because I looked up her name, and I mean I can see she made a I'm so sorry video, but I don't know what like the best. This one is like 1 minute and 32 seconds, but there's got to be more in there, right? The Birdie video. Well, this is a video by her. Birdie. Is this Birdie? My roommate groomed a 14-year-old. I need help. What the? Your roommate. That's a dark position to be in. Trigger warning.
Okay, I have to be kind of quiet because Cinny is in the other room because she.
Wait, she's recording the video with her in the other room? Instantly gonna shit on her for the mic being bad. She's recording it with the person she's accusing in the room next to her? Bro, what? Whoa.
Called in sick from work today.
It's like you're like recording the out. Imagine I had like a roommate. I'm like, hey guys, I gotta be really quiet right now. It turns out my roommate is a creep, is a loser creep pedo. They're in the other room, so I can't let them hear it, which is why I'm under the table. But just know that they did something really bad. Like, that's nuts. That is nuts, bro. She's like an on the scene investigative journalist, I guess. Allegation meta has evolved in a way that I never could have predicted.
But let me pull up my script. This video isn't gonna be like any video I made before. Like, nothing like this has ever happened to me. I don't even know how I'm gonna format this video. Like, I'm just trying to get this done as fast as I can, because this is like an emergency, but just trying to like spill my guts as fast as I can so that I can be safe and so that Cinny doesn't hurt anyone else. I have a loose script here, but I'll probably ramble a lot due to how emotional I've been, so I apologize for any messy wording.
Undertale music, bass,
tangents. Cindy's victim compiled a comprehensive document in the description detailing every
Comprehensive document. Call out Google Docs. Here we go. How many words are we dealing with? 6,000! Come on, bro! 6,000. 6,000, bro. That's so much. Okay, I'm scrolling through it. It's 111 pages long! You're kidding me! You're kidding me! You're... I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna delve. I'm gonna delve. I'm gonna delve and dive. Okay. I'm a delver. I'm a diver. I'm a deep sea diver. When it comes to allegations, and we're gonna dive. All right. We're gonna dive. I've got a new Red Bull ready to crack open. I didn't know we were getting into this on stream, but here we go. Trigger warning. SA non-con gore art with nudity and sexual suggestive themes. Wait, is it censored or? It looks censored. Okay, it's all censored. Art with nudity and sexual and suggestive themes. All right, guys, we're going to do this. All right, we're actually going to delve deep. You guys ready to delve deep? Delve extremely deep? Update. Cindy has been outed for grooming a 14-year-old. She's currently 20 and about to turn 21. Cindy even made a video admitting to this, and she knows it is wrong. Please check out the victim's document to see the screenshots of their conversation and support the victim in any way you can. Cindy's behavior is terrible. So Cindy, so that's the I'm so sorry video. What is this?
I was going to make a video talking about a recent document that was released about me, but the situation has gotten much more serious as I realize the damage that I've caused. I've been an irresponsible content creator, and I've been acting inappropriately towards my fans. This alone is enough for me to realize I need to make sweeping changes to how I conduct myself and how I interact with my fans. But the most...
Was she hot? That's an important question to ask for sure. Was the alleged hot? Good question.
serious thing I've done is I've groomed a minor. I became friends with a 14-year-old after...
Wait, did she say...
Serious thing I've done is I've make sweeping changes to how I conduct myself and how I interact with my fans. But the most serious thing I've done is I've groomed a minor.
Wait, they said it straight up. They said it straight up that they did it? Whoa. That's a first. I feel like you don't get that usually. Even EDP didn't admit to it. She admitted to it?
I became friends with a 14-year-old after I made a mental note to myself to not become friends with minors again. And I overshared with them. I shared graphic, explicit materials with them when I shouldn't have. I groomed this child, and I knew what I was doing was wrong. And I betrayed everyone who looked up to me. I betrayed my friends. I've done the worst possible thing I could have done, and I'm suffering for my choices. I don't know if I can ever come back to my platform, and it's my own fault. I'm going to seek therapy. I'm stepping away from my social medias, and
She straight up admitted. She was just like, hey guys, I groomed a child. What's up? I'm like, what the hell? Channel update. I groomed a child. What? Bro, that's nuts. That is nuts. Oh my God.
Going to try to figure out why I felt it was...
That's not grooming. That's having no boundaries. Well, it might be. I mean, the thing is, this is what she said she did, but then she described the no boundaries thing. So, I mean, we'll have to see what is exactly the case here.
It was appropriate to talk to my fans this way. I don't want to hurt anyone. I don't want this pattern to repeat itself. I want to be better. Nothing I do will ever make this right, but I want to make sure it never happens again. I'm sorry to everyone I've ever made uncomfortable with my sexual content. I'm sorry to the victim I groomed. I don't want to say their name, I want to protect their identity. I'm sorry for what I've done. I'm ashamed of myself for doing this and hurting everyone. I'll be closing my Discord server. I'm shutting down my Patreon. I won't be posting my art. If I ever come back, it will be years from now. Once I've gotten better and once I've made sure that I can be responsible with the platform I've created. I feel so sorry for Jack. When he learned what I had done, he cried. And he doesn't feel
Who
safe
is Jack?
with me anymore.
Who is Jack? Is Jack the roommate? Is Birdie Jack? I thought Birdie was a girl. Who is Jack? Jack Mama?
Hurt him so much. I don't know why I did this. He doesn't want to support me anymore, and I don't blame him. But I love him so much, and it pains me that I've made him feel like this. All
Jack
I ever
is
wanted to
Birdie?
do was help him.
Oh, is there like some sort of a situation? Jack/Lucifer, he/it, arrow, ace, and gay, 16 plus. I'm getting into a dark chapter. An arrow ace chapter even. Why 16 plus? Why not just 18? I guess is my question. What is that? Oh, no. Oh, no. What am I getting into here, man? Who recommended this to me, bro? You need to be held responsible. This is going to be a dark exploration.
And then give him a safe environment to live in, and I failed him. I don't want to make it out like I care more about hurting Jack than hurting the victim. I'm deeply upset that I hurt the victim, but Jack is my best friend, and I can't believe how much I betrayed him. He's been hurt so much by his abusers, and he learned that I did the same thing that they did to him. I can't forgive myself for breaking his heart like that. It breaks my heart to see him so distraught. I don't want anyone to try to defend me. I don't deserve your pity. I'm not the victim here. I did this to myself. Pray for my recovery. Pray that I get better and never do this again. I'm so sorry I did this.
Should have stayed with Sans. You never loved Sans. You loved Frisk. Girl, you're supposed to love Sans, not minors. The banner did not age well. What is the banner? Running from my problems like, oh, damn. I guess it didn't age well. What kind of content does this person make? Timelance and a meme, Scootaloo and Rainbow Dash 13 plus. All right, guys. So make sure you're 13 plus in chat if you're going to watch this, all right? I assume you all are. Jack N. Hoff, my best friend. Yeah! Let's go! Bruh. No. Wait till you see the... Oh, this one's dark. Yeah! Throw it back! Alright. So we're in the animation meme community, I suppose, is what we're exploring today. Okay? We've seen the apparent confession. We now have a document. Okay? We have a document. Cindy's been outed for grooming a 14-year-old. She's currently 20, about to turn 21. Cindy even made a video admitting to doing this, and she knows she is wrong for it. Please check out the victim's document to see the screenshots of their conversations. Support the victim any way you can. Cindy's behavior is terrible. Okay, so wait, this isn't the victim's doc. There's another doc? Wait, there's two docs? The artwork in this document is censored, but the conversations that me and her had are still graphic. I'd recommend being 16 years older if you're going to read this. How long is this one? 188 pages! No! There's 300 pages. It's the Twin Towers. This is the Cindy Bear 9/11. Ladies and gentlemen, a second doc has hit the channel. A second doc has hit the channel. Why? What? We can't condense things a little bit. All right. We'll start with this one, okay? We'll read the non-victims doc. All right. Here we go, guys. Are you ready? Here we go, guys. After sitting on this for a while, I feel as now I should finally speak on this. Please take the time to look over everything I've gathered before forming an opinion, as I cover a lot here. Thank you. In this doc, I'll be covering the following. Cindy's suggestive and inappropriate interactions with minors, Cindy's not safe for work and suggestive messages and art interacting with minors, and in her 13-plus Discord server full of minors. Cindy disrespecting sock.clip's boundaries after being blocked by her, making suggestive and not safe for work comments and ship art about her OCs. When she is 3 years younger than Cindy and is uncomfortable with Cindy doing this. 3 years younger? She also drew non-con, meaning non-consensual art of sock.clip's OC boy and is still simping over / self-shipping with sock.clip's OCs despite knowing this makes her uncomfortable. What is going on? Cindy's inappropriate friendship that turned very not safe for work with someone she acknowledges she had a power imbalance with when she was an adult, 19, and they were a minor, 17. Wait, 19 and 17? I thought it was 14. I thought it was 14. 17 and 19? So the new allegation is 19 and 14, but this is 17 and 19. A 19-year-old and a 17-year-old are like the same thing, but there's another allegation. Creating sock gang in context. I met Cindy around 2020 to 2021 due to me joining a friend group she happened to be a part of. Me, Cindy, and a few others who were part of that friend group made a group chat together called Sock Gang to talk back and forth with one another. A few other members were added or left over time, and we would talk on and off there every so often. I was a part of this little group chat during its creation, up until I left in October of 2023. I left due to a call-out video being made about Cindy, 19 years old, by a 17-year-old that made me reflect on some of the things discussed within this group chat, which I'll delve further into with the document. Okay, a 17-year-old and a 19-year-old is not grooming, to be clear. That is not grooming. 20 and 14, that's no good, but 17 and 19, that's like, I don't care. There's two claims here, one that matters, one that does not. 2021 wasn't really the issue. It was 2022 to 2023. There were multiple members of this group chat who happened to be minors, while there were some who were adults. I was one of the minors, 15 when the group chat was created, and 17 when I left, as well as my partner who was 16 when they joined in 2023. There were also two other minors who had been in a group chat who will be present within the screenshots. Okay, so now they're saying there's a group chat with other minors. Alongside us, there were 3 adults that will be present within these screenshots, one of them being as old as 24. Despite this fact, sexual jokes and other inappropriate conversations were shared within the group chat, which I will share within these screenshots. I'll be going over the different screenshots one by one. I have a few notes before I go over them. All of the ages at the time of these conversations will be specified within the screenshots for the Sock Gang section. Sock Gang. Shout out Sock Gang. If you're a member of the Sock Gang, let me know. Keep me updated and posted on all that. You know, the happenings and goings on, I guess. Sock Gang. Actually don't contact me regarding any of this. I don't want to speak to any of you. Also specifying this now, but some of the screenshots are in light mode or on different devices due to my partner taking the screenshots, while the ones in dark mode were taken by me on a mobile device and computer. If you have a partner that uses light mode on Discord, I think you need to rectify that situation, honestly. I'll be censoring the users of a lot of people in these screenshots to protect their privacy. Please do not harass anyone mentioned within the document or messages. That doesn't help or solve anything. I don't condone that whatsoever. I just want to share my experience and thoughts on what I've seen as well as heard from others. Sock Gang 2022 to 2023 screenshots. So this is the group chat with multiple minors and multiple adults is what they're saying. All right. All right. Oh, we've got ages attached here. Okay. We got ages attached. Okay, here we go. Bay says this 15-year-old, I guess. Witty is Bob M, says this 15-year-old. I thought you said Witty is bottom I. The 15-year-old says bomb and bottom. The other 15-year-old says get your mind out of the gutter, Cinny. Cinny says I'm too horny for my own good. The 15-year-old says hee, Cinny, horny. Cindy says, I'm at church for God's sake. One of the 15-year-olds says, are you actually? Cindy says, yee. This person says, imagine being horny at church, SMH. And then the other 15-year-old says, lamau. Hee, I'm horny. Shut up! Shut up! Don't speak. I'm horny. I'm horny. Shut up! No. No. You're not allowed to be horny. Putting a moratorium on being horny personally. We're not allowing that to go down. Whatever that is. No. Stop gooning. So starting things off, things like this were often said within the group chat. The deleted user with the yellow profile picture here is me, specifically here, while the user with the purple deleted profile picture is another minor. They will appear different multiple times throughout the screenshots. Despite this, sexual jokes were shared in the group chat, and so were other inappropriate conversations. Here, Cindy says, poke me. Turns out my nips are pop-it fidgets, and now we're both freaking out because we don't know how to pop it back out. So Cindy was 18 here. A 15-year-old says, ah, wow. The other 15-year-old, it says they're 16 now, actually says, spins them round and round like a fidget spinner. Cindy says, why are y'all touching them? This other account says 3 devil emojis. Cindy says, everyone in Sock Gang being horny on main, turning into cum sock. This person says, Cindy, you're always horny on main. And this person says, lamau, with a cat. By this point, I had turned 16 years old and the other person was still 15. Despite this, strange joking conversations like these occurred with Cindy. I feel like the main concern I have is her engaging with someone like this who was 15 while she was 18, not so much with me. You make my shaboing ooze the brown goo. When are you going to India? Tomorrow. I'm flying directly into India's asshole, as far as they're concerned. Which leads me into my next screenshot. Here we have Cindy. It says she's 18. This had a Discord spoiler over it, but I am inserting the drawing so you can see what was under it. It is up on her page too, and it's some like gore art of her character. This person who's 15 says, shiny, spank your booty. Cindy says, is dead. This person leaves 4 heart eye emoji. This is like super cringe. What the is this? Who talks like this? Rant, confirmed necrophile. And then this person says, wah, no, I'm canceled. And then a broken heart emoticon. Would you ever chop your cough? What does that even mean? What does that even mean? What does that even mean? Biz Baz Despat. You are a spaz. What does it even mean? Cindy often posted her art within the group chat to show everyone, and she posted this drawing with the chat with a spoiler over it. I've edited it so you can see which drawing was under it, and this one is currently up on her page behind warnings. The drawing is gore art, where her Sona is also in underwear. I think the response after the drawing was posted within the group chat was concerning. The response posted after the drawing was posted in the group chat is concerning. Cindy says, I was horny at work listening to Ponder Sprocket. Why did I get horny? When they were 18, a 14-year-old gives a confused emoji and says, how? Cindy says, wah, IDK. And then this person says, Cindy, this ain't new SMH. Bro, I'm not even that concerned with whatever the allegation is. It's just like the way these people talk. Why? Why? Here's Cindy telling the group chat she got horny while listening to Ponder Sprocket. The two people who engaged with this message are both minors. Inappropriate for her to say something like this around a minor 4 years younger than her. Who? I know the name Ponder Sprocket. So this is what Cindy was gooning to.
I went to VidCon, and it was not what I expected. I mean, I guess I didn't really know what.
Okay, you get the idea. All right, so Cindy at 19. Bro, WTF am I supposed to do when I'm horny? Just sitting here clueless. Cindy's at the time boyfriend, 19 years old, something with a detailed drawing of the troll face. Cindy says what? This person says, I don't know, something. Cindy says, darn, BF is also clueless. This person says, what do you expect me to say? Cindy says, I don't know. If you're in a relationship, why aren't you guys just... If you're both 19, why aren't they just... Are they e-dating? Is there some e-dating going on? It seems like there's some e-dating. There's some long-distance relationship e-dating. I'm horny. Shut up! No, you're not. Not okay. It's not okay to be horny, all right? Hey. Putting a stop on that horny thing. This is Cindy speaking about how she was horny in the GC but didn't know what to do about it. The person who was censored and replying was her at the time boyfriend, and they are the same age. There were multiple minors in the group chat who could see and read the messages. For example, based off the dates, one of the minors in the group chat would have been 15 and able to see the messages. Deleted user who's 23 or 24, I guess, says, yeah, he might be right. I don't know. Cindy at 19 says, the pieces kind of fit in a way, I just can't remember it. The deleted user says, that's really scary. Cindy says, this is extremely TMI and kind of gross, so I understand not wanting to know, but his biggest reason for thinking this is because I told him I feel absolutely no pleasure when masturbating. 0, zip, nothing. Okay. This deleted user, someone who's 16, responds to the 23 or 24-year-old deleted user and says, that's so terrifying. I can't imagine being gaslit. Gaslit. They use the word gaslit. It's over. It's actually over. It's actually over. I can't imagine being gaslit to think something so awful. Sad emoji. Sad emoticon. And then this same person says, I never knew that could be links like that. That's an interesting neurological thinking. I hope it's not the reason, though, because that's terrible. This is a different deleted user whose age I'm unsure on, as I was told they were 24 when I had left, but they have an intro in Cindy's Discord server from 2021 saying they're 23. Hi, I'm blank. I'm 23 and I do a lot of tech stuff and posting. I am GOAT and have the humor of a 5-year-old. I'm GOAT? What does that mean, I'm GOAT? Like greatest of all time, GOAT? But they didn't spell it that way. What is this? What is this? I remember seeing this conversation take place while I was on call with my partner. Cindy and another adult who I know to be either 23 or 24 at the time of me leaving though, were talking back and forth within the group chat venting. The venting ended up including sexual sensitive topics. I think it's okay to vent about certain things like this in private, but it is not okay to talk about this when there were multiple minors present within the group chat, including me and my partner who was 16 at the time being able to read it. Yeah, that is not good. I agree. That's pretty bad. There was another minor, 16 as well, even engaging with the conversation. Me and my partner were hanging out on call and had seen this conversation go down, and I remember the both of us commenting to each other about it and feeling uncomfortable. Despite this, neither of us said anything. Even though we could have expressed our discomfort, looking back on it now, I feel as though that was not our responsibility because it's an adult's place to be mindful of what they're saying in the presence of those who are younger than them. The adults then in the group chat should have known better to have that sort of conversation in private messages and not in the presence of people younger than them. Yet they didn't. Cindy's Discord server. Cindy has a Discord server called Cindy's Fan Club. The server is a strictly 13+ server as it's stated in the rules. These rules have not been changed or altered since 2021. I was actually the one who wrote these rules for the server when it was created because I was a moderator. There was very few moderators in the server and still are because they are all Cindy's friends. These rules have not been changed to this day as these are the only rules present within the channel. Here is also a moderator very recently stating the server is 13+ with the announcements channel and not to discuss 18+ topics. This announcement makes no sense. Members aren't allowed to discuss 18+ topics, but apparently Cindy can. I'll touch more on this in a moment. Tom Dark, bad haircut. Thomas, bad haircut. Based. All right. No not safe for work topics or art or nude images under any circumstances. The server is 13+. The reminders, keep that to yourself. This is rule number 4 of Cindy's Discord server. I'd like to highlight where it states the server is 13+ and the reminders here. Keep that to yourself. Despite this being a rule in the server for the past 3 years, Cindy has on multiple different occasions posted art containing nudity, suggestive themes, and alluding to not safe for work within her Discord server. Here we have them posting at artping, spoil because naked. Nothing is actually shown, but you know. And the caption on this art says, you can lewd Cindy, I don't mind. Sorry if this is super unexpected, LOL. Cindy posted this drawing within her art channel saying people can lewd her. By the time this was posted to her 13+ server, she would have been 19. Upon checking different users who had reacted to this post, there were multiple different minors present who had seen this image and interacted with it by reacting. Here are just a few things that I happened to see upon looking at who reacted to the image, then looking up their users in the intro section of the server. There are many more. Yet anybody could have viewed this post because she pinged the art ping role and not reacted to it. The same not safe for work and gore drawing that was sent in the SOC game group chat was also posted to her 13 plus server, and there they have a picture of it. At art ping, work in progress of a drawing. I'm going through the 15 stages of grief, and now I'm coping by being sexy. I included this one due to the language used, and we have some art there of I guess this is Cindy's character in like a tight dress with big boots on. At art ping, silly sketch, Sinmare, but Cindy grows taller and NM doesn't know what to do. She tops with her character, and then Sans from Undertale like being or something. I don't even know. what the is going on. This is like some strange gooner community. I'd like to highlight this artwork specifically because of the reactions to it saying not safe for work, and where Cindy says she tops in the initial message. There's a major issue with posting these types of works to a 13 plus server because minors can see and interact with them. When going through the reactions on the work above, you can see that there are multiple minors who reacted to this art piece on the various different emojis under the artwork. Okay. There are many more, but these are the first few that I found upon searching a few users who reacted to the drawing. Similarly, there are people who reacted to and talked about her drawing within the art comments chat. Tall Cinny about to manhandle, and who is NM? I thought it was Sans. Is Sans not NM? Who the is NM? Rip NM. Romantically, though. Swap AU. For real, though, that's cute. I love height differences. Same. Oh my lord. Hell yeah, hot. Should we say Rip Night? Who is NM? NM is Nightmare? Nightmare Sans? Nightmare Sans. Cindy's character is going to top Nightmare Sans. Let it be known. I don't get it. These people in jail are under investigation at the least. No. There are many more, but these are the first few that I found upon searching for a few users who reacted to this drawing. Similarly, there are people who reacted to it and talked about her drawing within the comments chat. We read that. Should we say Rip Nightmare? Yeah, grab him by the scruff like the car he is. Cat. She tops is wild. Girl boss for real. NM's going to be waddling for the rest of the story. If you know, you know. Should have been me. I feel like Nightmare is going to have an existential crisis because Cinny being taller than him. Cinny 8. That's all I'm saying. Oh, Cinny 8? I didn't realize that. Cinny 8? Cinny 8. Certified Brapog moment. True! Cinny 8, guys. Cinny tops is like the funniest thing I've seen today. Not going to lie. True. According to Cinny. I chose to highlight one user in dark blue specifically because Cindy replies to them twice. Upon looking up their info, they are revealed to be 16. Their bio states this is still their current age. Cindy was 20 during this conversation and when she posted that art of her and NM. Upon looking up some of the other people present within these screenshots, they're also revealed to be minors via their intros. I'm getting a lot better with backgrounds. She posts art of her character kneading dough, I guess. This is a redraw Cindy is doing of her baking while naked under her apron. She 20 announced this to her 13 plus Discord server. I would love to see her body under the apron with a blushing emoji. She says /HJ with a camera. What is HJ? What is /HJ? Half joking? So we've got a few definitions. The top two I'm reading are half joking and Hitler Youth. So it could be either of those. I'm going to go with Hitler Youth. She said /Hitler Youth. This comment was made in regards to Cindy's Nake Bake art. Nake Bake. Her Nake Bake art. Based off this user's intro, this person could possibly be 16 or 17 and Cindy's 20, responding to them in this manner. On top of this, Cindy's engaged multiple times with minors in either not safe for work discussions or jokes publicly within the server. Discord for sending my message before I could finish my joke. Popping in to ask something I've already asked before. Is there a character AI that allows not safe for work and won't let anyone see my chats? I don't see anyone seeing me get to second base with Sans the Skeleton. Okay. I don't need anyone seeing me get to second base with Sans the Skeleton. I second this. So real. Let it be free too. I would also like to know. Belp. BHELP. Is that help or like a blah 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 blah? The only character AI type thing I know about it is the AI Fantasy app. Never used it, but I see ads on TikTok. Okay, so from what I can tell here, she had like a 13 plus Discord server with a bunch of minors in it, I guess, and she was sending like weird, gross, suggestive art in it with people who were probably too young to be seeing it. That seems to be the takeaway from the document so far. It's my interpretation of what's going on. Character AI, how? Oh wait, I saw your other message. To the computer /ref. What is /ref? Is that reference? What is /ref? Why does people type like this? When I looked it up, it says referee. /ref tone indicator. All right, I found a mass list /ref. Reference is exactly like the gold or blue dress debacle /ref. Okay. Bahaha. I mean, I was fully willing to tell you how I did it, but good luck, Cinny. It's kind of a long, tedious process, but it will be worth it. I promise. Hopefully. I promise. I promise. No. I'm going to try AI Fantasy and come back with info. Well, if you can tell me then, please, with a big eyes, sort of quivering eyes emoji there, okay? This is a more current instance in 2024 where she asked about character AI. However, in 2023, she also talked about it on the server too. There's one user in particular taking part in this conversation who I'll be highlighting in yellow and orange. So character.ai is the site where you chat with AI, but it's safe for work. What's the site where the AI is horny? Bruh. Asking for a friend. Chai. This person says, yeah, lol, the highlighted person. I was traumatized. And they give a link to apps.apple.com/us/app/chai. All right, don't use chai, whatever chai is. Not safe for work. AI are IC. So I got to ask you that one day. Yeah, I turn 20 soon. I don't know if I like it. Where you want to, by the way, in quotations. Dead emoji. Praying emoji. 2 exclamation points. Cindy says, go away. And they say, he, buff, jis, buff, jigd. And then the yellow person says, Lamau. They say LMAO. They're laughing their ass off. Cindy says, do I have to answer that? Do you really want that answer? The yellow user says, kinda. A blue person says, is that an option? Yellow says, I'm a very curious girl, so, ooh, I want to know too. Sure, why not? Peace was never an option. Well, spill. Spill. Yeah, spill the tea, please. Answer is, I'm horny and want a robot to pretend they're a fictional character I like so I can pretend I'm happy. Dude, what does that even mean? What does that even mean? What is it? You want, okay, so she wants a robot to pretend that they're Nightmare Sans from Undertale to make them happy so they're not horny, or they are horny and they'll be happy if they are fueling their horniness, so they need the robot? What does this mean? I don't understand, dude. I feel like I don't know. I haven't been in the cut. I don't know what's going on in the streets in the hood. I don't know what's going on here. So, I come back to the hood. And I see whatever the this is. People need a job desperately. They need to start gangbanging. They need to start smoking their ops rather than talking about AI Sans Undertale Gooner art. There were minors present within this conversation interacting. This is also in the general chat of the server, so anyone could read it. Why I chose to highlight the user with yellow in particular was because searching their intro, I found out that at the time this conversation took place, the user was 13 years old. Ooh. Cindy would have been 19. She's publicly telling these people in her 13+ server, replying to a 13-year-old throughout the conversation, that she's looking for a not safe for work character bot to talk to because she's horny. This is absolutely not okay. Yeah, true. Bringing a not safe for work topic into a 13+ server is an issue because someone younger can possibly interact with it. I'm not stating that two of the users' ages, but it is given that minors could interact with these topics with the server is 13+. There are instances of her being not safe for the server. These messages are making me cringe and want to vomit. Bro, it's like Tumblr, type shit. It's like, I don't know. One of my editors, writers, we talk like this sometimes, I will say. He's the same age as me, to be clear. But I'll message him and be like, hey, big butt, when's that video gonna be done? I'll be like, wags my feet. When's the video edit gonna be done? It's dopeness supreme, okay? That's how you be a real gangster, all right? That's how you be a real gangster. Nuzzles you, ooh-woo. Is the James Bear video almost done editing? Bruh. All right, chat, here we go. Cindy says, apparently when I try to sleep, if I'm not aggressively horny, I'm just having an existential crisis. It sounds like a very depressed person that needs help. Purrs cutely. Bro, stop. No way. I've run out of horny juice, so instead of thinking about my parents dying when I'm older, I think I'll be sleep deprived. Because I'm very often horny on main, and blank made it an emoji to make fun of me. Everyone is horny, Cindy says. Cindy says, why am I blank every waking moment? What is the blank? Oh, so why am I so unbelievably horny every waking moment? They say horny again. Why is Cindy so horny? This person just needs to have sex with a consenting adult of their age. Why are they doing this? Hey, Big Butt is crazy, dude. Hey, Big Butt is cool. He messages me. He's like, nuzzles you, ooh, when is the script going to be ready for me to start working on? It is extremely inappropriate to be talking this way on a 13+ server. Anyone 13 or older can read or interact with the conversation. That's true. Can't wait till I move out so I can take commissions. Hee hee. That's why you're excited to move out? When I wanted to move out, I was excited to be able to, like, drive my car wherever I wanted and, like, have my own sleep schedule, which ultimately I ended up coming back to the conclusion that having a normal sleep schedule like my parents have, where you like go to bed at 11 and wake up at like 6, is probably the best way to do it. But Cindy is excited to move out so she can take commissions and make gooner art. Move out to Goon. Move Goon. Oh my God. Is this like a pony? Real. Sad emoji. Middle finger emoji reaction. I'm only asking because of my hypothetical drive to idea, lol. No, we live in the Midwest. Here is Cindy announcing in general chat that she can't wait to move out so she can take non-safe for work commissions. Here is someone that Cindy's responding to talking about social influence issues on perception. Cindy says, I'm still lost. My issue is that I'm very desperate for a romantic, maybe also sexual relationship, but I don't find real people attractive in that way. Bruh. This is like the depths of addiction, chat. This is the depths of addiction. You got a server with a bunch of people of varying ages in it that are too young to be seeing it. You're sending weird gooner art. You're saying you're not even attracted to real individuals anymore. This person's 300 pounds, probably, if I had to guess. Whatever the case, guys, the stuff has got to stop, okay? The stuff has got to stop. No, you will never be a real groomer. This is just be attracted to like real people. It's a real problem. You need to ban. I mean, in a perfect world, that sounds nice, but that's never going to happen. You're never going to be able to ban porn. That's not going to work. I think the best thing you can do is just educate people and make it harder for minors to access it. Banning will never happen. Here is her telling people within her chat that she wants a romantic but also possibly sexual relationship. She put it behind a spoiler, which anyone can click and view. This isn't something to be mentioned in a server full of minors. Cindy says, that is laughably incorrect. Boy got titties. Does he? One sec, proving you wrong. Please do, I'm genuinely curious. And responds with this blue character, this blue individual. Here is another suggestive conversation Cindy within the server, specifically about sock.clip's OC boy. So her OC is called Boy. This is Boy, the blue guy. Oh, proof. Wow. Even Boy has bigger boobs than me. Do you think he could flex them like bodybuilders do? Dude. Yes, absolutely he could. How would you react if you were to witness that? I would bloosh. I would bloosh? What is that blushing? What is blushing? What does it mean to bloosh? I would bloosh. That moment when you bloosh? I'm gonna look up what is blushing. Tone indicator. It says red in the face from shyness, embarrassment, or shame. So it's the same thing as blushing. They just say bloosh to be like quirky XD, Reddit, or whatever. Not surprised. Probably ask politely to touch. If he said yes, he'd kneel down to you so you can reach. Eyes looking emoji, no offense. I think the male form is supposed to be a lot bigger than his default. Male is giant blue man, he, who, so that's probably accurate. Isn't his default already pretty huge? He's taller than Bomb Man, right? Yeah, but wait, is he? Who is Bomb Man? Is this Osama? 9/11. Who is Bomb Man? At the time of this conversation, Cindy would have been 19 while the user she was talking to about Boy's chest was possibly 16. What? You don't even know? I feel like you should know. I feel like you should know that. No, 9/11, no, bomb. Age 14, almost 15. These are all chats I found by searching a few different not safe for work terms, so there may be even more I've not seen. However, I feel as though this is enough to say it is incredibly inappropriate and unacceptable for her to talk this way and send this sort of material on a server that's known to be 13+. This Discord's full of her fans, being titled CindyBear03 Fan Club, and there have been multiple instances where minors have been interacting with her or seen her even interacted with the suggestive content she's posting in there. Soph says, I'm 100% under the impression that without a doubt, you know better than to publish non-con and abusive not safe for work comics. Cindy Bear says, of course, my audience is full of minors. She's aware her audience is full of minors, the Discord server is as well. In intro 13, so showing that there's 1,000 messages in the server of people saying that they're 13 years old, and way less people saying they're 18. 500 people saying they're 13. Or sorry, 500 people saying they're 18. Yet anybody can view the content she puts in the server if they state they are 13+ and are let into the Discord. They can read those conversations or see this art, which is a huge problem. People are required to create an intro when they join a server and state their age. They can either say 13+, their actual age, or an age range showing they are 13 or older. It's very easy to look up someone's intro and see their given age, given it is a server requirement that specifies you can be allowed in. The information is accessible, yet I'm still under the impression she does not check this before engaging with these people in this way. She needs to be more careful on who she speaks to or around in this manner. A 13+ server is not the appropriate place for this at all. There needs to be more care shown with this, as bringing these certain topics into a space with lots of minors is not okay. I agree with that. True. Good point. In October of 2023, I ended up leaving the Sock Gang group chat because a video was posted online exposing that Cindy had been talking to a 17-year-old who I'll be calling O for the rest of this document and said I want to disclose their name inappropriately when she was 19. Okay, but the 17 and 19 is like, that doesn't matter. What do you mean inappropriately? 17 and 19 is a normal relationship. How old is the person who made this document? Are they 15 years old? If they think a 17-year-old, 19-year-old dating is weird. The other shit in the server is definitely weird, but 17 and 19 is like, who cares? Me and Laurel ended up talking about this when the video came out. I'm showing these conversations to prove what I was referring to happening. I will include a mini screen recording of the start in the Google Drive to prove his authenticity. This conversation took place in October. Laurel is referring to Cindy's conduct with O at the start of the conversation. Oh, there's so freaking much, bro. All right. Cindy noticed you left in Sock Gang and wondered why, so I confronted her about it. I didn't really buffer it and just told her that what she did was inexcusable, and she no longer has the excuse of being a minor who doesn't know any better. She seems serious about never doing anything like this again, and I can only hope she meant it. Hope you're doing well. I'm doing all right. I thought everything over, as well as looked back at some past things and combos in Sock Gang, and I just don't think I can be friends with her anymore. I hope she does improve, though, and doesn't do anything like this again for her own sake and other people's as well. I hope you're doing all right as well. /Jen. Camera emoji, 2 exclamation points, heart with seems to be some audio waves around it, and this is /Jen edited. Also, you're valid for stepping away. What past combos did you think of /Jen, if it's okay to ask? Bro, the way these people talk is like, it's impossible to read in a serious light. Understandable, and I'm glad, dude, you got this. Thank you. You're literally so goated, it's insane. And to be honest, I just kind of look back and there's a lot of not safe for work mentions and short combos or jokes within Sock Gang, despite there being minors in there, including myself. I never really thought too hard on it until today, looking back, and I just made me feel kind of, I don't know. Laurel says, did I ever do or say anything to make you guys uncomfortable at all? If so, I will not be hurt. No, it wasn't you. I genuinely don't think you have. /Jen. What is /Gen? Is it general? Short for generation, used when saying what age group someone belongs to or whether they belong to the first, second. Okay, /Gen meaning tone indicator. /Gen. Genuine. Okay, this is when you're being genuine. Because it's hard to tell when someone's being genuine, so you have to put /Gen. /Gen. I guess they're kids or whatever, but Jesus. It was honestly mostly Cindy, which is why looking back on it and seeing the contents of the video is why I decided to step away. All right, I just want to make sure. I don't remember all the combos I've had in there, so I want to make sure I never said anything in the past I didn't remember. Yeah, I think her biggest issue was that she never really mentally bridged the adult and minor gap and just kind of saw herself on the same level as everyone, even after she turned 18. That does seem to be true. I remember a conversation where there was some not safe for work stuff like spoilered out with the blank since it was being talked about in the GC, and blank was replying to it despite like the two people talking about it were adults and no one really said anything, like people just kept talking, and in the moment I thought that was just odd. Not blank, but like I feel like they need to watch what they say more to people who are now not in their age graphic or just around them. You know what I mean? To question marks? Bruh. I am getting turbo AIDS from this document. Is this still over the 17-19 stuff? No. The 17-19 stuff seems to be why they didn't want to talk to Cindy Bear anymore, which is, but the actual...
I don't know why I watch this shit. This is so fucking boring, man. It's like, yeah, I get it. But like, do the onion, like, really showing it down, because we don't need, like, every detail. You know? This is like a court case.
Hello guys and gals, me Mudahar with a bit of a short and sweet video over here. If you're looking at the title, this Indian guy just beat Rockstar's crappy anti-cheat in how long? 2 hours. Now the footage I'm showing you on the screen right now is Grand Theft Auto Online footage captured on the most recent version, I think 1.69. And the thing about this version is it has the BattleEye anti-cheat put into it. Now this is running underneath a virtual machine, so not Linux itself, but a virtual machine running underneath Linux. And I've shown this setup in the past, and normally virtual machines would be blocked by anti-cheats, but if you know what you're doing, and you know how to mask certain things, and you know how to make yourself look as close to a real computer as possible, there's a chance you can bypass anti-cheats like BattleEye, like easy anti-cheat. And obviously some like Valorant are still kind of the holy grail to bypass. But I'll explain why I've done this, and it's not just to play Grand Theft Auto. But to go into it, I, as a Linux gamer, decided to basically abandon Grand Theft Auto, and there's a reason for it. So in that video, I basically said that, yeah, it's pretty much the natural end for me. Like, obviously, as a Linux user, I am not somebody that really should be participating in playing video games that are hostile to the operating system that I use. Now, in the last video, I showcased that Linux was this, platform that's kind of building up in the last few years. We're up to like 4.95% desktop market share. There's not a lot of Linux people out there, okay? It's a lot of Windows users and Mac users, all right? And if you're not using a computer, you're on mobile operating systems. Now, in the last several years, Linux gaming has kind of blown up, with the help of companies like Valve, and it's become a actual serious competitive option for people who once, on the PC, only had Windows to use. For the longest time, you only had to use Microsoft Windows and you had no competition. Now you finally have the competition if you want to play games and not be tied to a proprietary operating system. But anyways, in the case of Grand Theft Auto, in the case of Rainbow Six, a lot of these games use kernel-level anti-cheats that are frankly incompatible with Linux, okay? And in that case, you pretty much are forced to add a kernel-level driver onto your Windows installation and basically take a hit on your personal security. Now, I noticed in the last couple weeks, there's been some rumbling that Microsoft is talking about taking, things out of the kernel, and none of these have been substantiated. Microsoft's not really doing any of that, from my understanding. I think there's been a lot of misinformation floating around. But to go into what BattleEye did, all right, and how I bypassed this, I have made several videos on virtual machines on my channel, okay? And if you guys want an up-to-date video for 2024, I would be totally happy to make an updated GPU, virtual machine video where I can teach you how to make a gaming virtual machine, even if you only have one graphics card. So I only have one graphics card in my system, and the way my virtual machines work is typically I fire up a Windows 11 machine, I hit the play button, and what it'll do is it'll blank out my computer, and it'll boot to a Windows virtual machine that I have built underneath. Now, on its own, and any virtual machine software, no matter how it is, like which type it is, will be detected by any of these anti-cheat solutions running in kernel. But to show you a couple things that you could do, and I don't say that I do any of this myself, my methodology is far different. It's more customized because what I'm showing you has already been detected and usually is patched out by the biggest anti-cheat manufacturers. But some of the stuff you're seeing over here are things like Proxmox anti-detection scripts. So you've got this QEMU anti-detection that aims to work against Anti-Cheat Expert, Easy Anti-Cheat, Gepard Shield, MyProt, and Protect GameGuard, Roblox. Of course, the only one that they don't seem to be functioning against is Vanguard, and that's just basically the holy grail of anti-cheats to effectively bypass. And again, there's also things like RTDSC KVM handlers, which require you, if this seems really confusing to some of you guys, what you can do is take some of this and, throw it in and actually patch your Linux kernel itself. And, once you have a patched kernel, then it basically means that you can run these virtual machines with even more, I guess you could say, abstraction. And one thing I've seen on YouTube, at least, is some channels basically saying that these are the scripts that I would be using. I can't confirm or deny anything, but it's generally this idea of kernel patches and these things that I'm actually aiming to hide, just so I can actually, play these games. But it's not really just for that. One of the primary reasons for me doing these levels of virtual machines is so that when I do things like virus investigations, or I actually assess malware. Malware is designed in a lot of cases to be detective of or virtual machines, just because then it knows that it's being usually analyzed by a researcher, and then it stops doing what it needs to, so you can't do any form of surveillance on those, malwares. So it's not purely a gaming thing for me, it's also for YouTube content and working on stuff down the road. But I wanted to bring it up here just because, this is why I ended up doing this. It's not necessarily as a fuck you to Rockstar. But yeah, the methodology that I use is obviously a virtual machine that is designed in such a way to be nearly undetectable. So when I do run a game, and there is a ban eventually down the road, and again, the software could end up getting you banned. And I want to preface for YouTube TOS, do not be circumventing anti-cheats. It's not okay at all. I do this purely as a research and an educational thing for me. But I would never recommend anybody do this, okay? If you do this, you are 100% in the wrong, and getting banned by your anti-cheat provider, that's a total win for them. But this is just kind of like a research thing for me, and it's also a protest. Look, this is the best way for me to isolate anti-cheats from my actual operating system is using that virtual machine intermediary. If they want to remove that, then it's probably best to spend my money towards more friendly game publishers or developers. So one of the things that I saw on Linux Gaming, one of the Reddits over here, was a GTA Online tutorial for Linux after the BattlEye update. Now, I would advise never to do this as a Linux gamer. This guy uploads a video on YouTube, and, you know, I'm sure their intentions are in the right place, but if you're looking at their video real carefully, they are running a mod menu and cheat engine to bypass this cheat. Basically, they are running exactly the fucking software that was designed. You know, they're running the same type of software and scripts that Rockstar spent money to implement an anti-cheat to destroy. This is the worst thing you can do as a Linux gamer if you want to make your fucking case, okay? In my situation, I've only bypassed their anti-cheat so I could run the game that I paid money for underneath Microsoft Windows, even if that version of Windows is sitting in a little virtual machine container on my Linux system. Now, you might be wondering, Mudo, why even go through all of that effort? Just fucking play on Windows. And the reality of it is, no, I can protest. I have the ability and understanding to bypass this stuff with ease. So I guess at the end of the day, one of the things that really wilds me out about this situation is, look, after less than a day, what had happened was this mod menu that comes out that's apparently free, open, I'm not linking to it or doing anything. This mod menu effectively allowed people to play Rockstar's, anti-cheat ridden game with ease. And the thing about a mod menu like this is Linux users are not the primary users of these things. Given the fact that most people play on Windows, it stands for reason that this mod menu is probably used, since it's a DLL, injected straight into the Windows version of Grand Theft Auto 5, basically the only PC version. And so in the conquest of destroying a Linux gamer's, chance at playing the video game, they've cut out an entire population of gamers, and ultimately the problem hasn't been solved when the free menus are just as capable, it seems, as even the paid stuff, and the hackers have bypassed this anti-cheat to begin with. Now, I'm not saying that anti-cheat isn't important, and you know what, honestly, I hope Rockstar keeps finding ways to reduce the cheating population. But as it stands, one thing that is possible for Rockstar is, very simply, and again, this is according to Valve and even BattlEye, to simply flick a single switch inside their portals, in their anti-cheat developer portal, and allow Linux gamers and Steam Deck users and anybody that uses Linux to basically play one of the most popular online games right now. Again, it costs Rockstar literally nothing from my understanding to do this. And it would just only open up the game to people playing, because as I've shown, you can bypass it the way that I do by tricking a virtual machine like detection, or it seems that these mod menus appear to work. And I don't endorse these mod menus. This is cheating and actually is the reason why Rockstar went so invasive. But it's just funny to me that Rockstar has chosen a path of, locking off a bunch of gamers when ultimately their solution didn't even solve anything. Now, at the end of the day, look, I think that Rockstar Games has probably lost my sale on anything PC related down the road. For me, if I have to play any of their games online, I guess I just have to play them on my PlayStation or really not even bother whatsoever. Because again, I do refuse to install these level of anti-cheats on my actual system, just because it's literally a privacy risk, and I don't think any game, even if it's as amazing as Grand Theft Auto, should deserve any of that scrutiny. But I think it's hilarious that locking off a whole bunch of gamers from access when it ultimately didn't really do anything is kind of hilarious at best, okay? It's just funny to me. But yeah, Rockstar, you can make everyone really happy by doing one thing right in this situation, and honestly, I hope they do. I hope they enable anti-cheat for the Linux guys. And I also want Valve to kind of pressure that too. Valve has done a lot, but really they're the only ones with the connections to these big companies to really put that real pressure on them, right? An email from a Valve engineer would be 1,000,000 times more effective than 1,000,000 Reddit posts from angry users on social media that Rockstar can just very conveniently ignore. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, wanted to share this because, yeah, I found it funny that I was able to beat it in a couple days, if not a day. And yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I'm probably not going to play it because I do have a bit of protest against this stuff. I will just switch to other video games. But yeah, Rockstar's anti-cheat really didn't do fucking anything in the grand scheme of things. If you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike it or dislike it. I am out.
We're gonna move on to doing a mine hut tutorial.
Yes.
Okay, sure, we'll name him Seinfeld. But to start with,
And he likes jazz. You like jazz?
Slash pet, and then it'll bring up a pet menu. We're gonna click the bee pet. So Clara Corvus's bee pet is what we have for now.
He's so cute! Oh my god!
Oh no.
You can see him following me. Okay. Oh, all right. Well, once you have your pet, at least, you're gonna type pet again and go to the top right corner.
My pet can beat up your pet.
Okay. Oh, all right, Mr. Inderman.
I'm eating my pet for
dude.
dinner tonight.
Oh.
Or wait.
Oh my god, Trent!
Never mind.
Look at him.
So,
He likes jazz. You like
Put the fries in the bag. Family country before I deport you.
Go, run! Run!
You put the fries in the bag. I'm gonna kick your butt. That was so good.
I feel like it's time for our monthly checkup on Josh. Originally, when I covered World of T-Shirts, it was a situation where, oh look, that guy's getting really drunk, Lamau, that's hilarious. But now, as time has gone on, the situation has just become more and more sad. Like, people are getting more and more concerned for him. And it seems right now he has two choices. The light choice is to get some actual help or maybe some kind of intervention. And the dark path is to keep doing what he's doing and just fall deeper and deeper into alcoholism. But if you don't know who Joshua Block is, basically he has become TikTok's obsession for the past couple of months, probably the best part of a year or so. So obviously the way the internet works, everything is supercharged, right? You know, memes come and they die within the space of like a day. Hock to a girl, hock who a girl?
Respect.
You know, there's so many memes that come out now that basically it's natural selection that like 2 or 3 of them actually survive and continue to, you know, do anything else. But Josh, as many people may know, likes to drink, and his entire bit is basically getting drunk every single day, filming himself around New York City, getting into altercations, to the point now, which I've said before, people have dedicated accounts tracking how much Josh drinks every single day, how much it eats into his finances, how many calories he's intaking, and also his blood alcohol level, which hits very worrying levels each video. I think I saw a video recently and he hit basically a new...
We're gonna move on to doing a to deal with pets. Should we make it won't sting you? I'll click the bee pet. You guys can make your own pets if you want to. Just do /pet.
Alright, slash pet.
I'm gonna type pet again and go to the top right.
My pet can beat up your pet.
Okay. Oh, all right, Mr. Enderman.
I'm eating my pet
dude.
for dinner tonight.
Oh.
Or wait.
Oh my god, Jen!
Never mind.
Look at him.
So,
Crap, we can't cut that out.
oh, I can make a baby bee. Now it's a baby. It's a baby bee now. But
You like jazz?
pet, perfect.
Oh,
I
oh,
did-
he's over.
I
I was
away.
like, save and quit. But no, he's over here. He's
he's
behind
right
you.
there.
Okay.
Exactly. Perfect.
Oh,
I
oh,
did-
he's over.
I
I was
away.
like, save and quit. But no, he's over here. He's
he's
behind you.
right
Okay.
Exactly. So here's my pet baby bee named Sign. Oh my gosh, Enderman.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh my
Jen!
god, he's huge!
I have pet giant.
How did you make him huge like that?
I went into pet, and then I went into the pet menu, and then there was an option for a giant, and now I have a giant pet, and now I am riding my giant pet, but I can't see
Oh, I
myself
can-
because I'm in his
I
head.
can make my pet. Okay, so I made my pet a hat, but it's like inside my head, so maybe my bee's a little too small for that. Oh, well, let me get rid of my pet real fast.
There we go.
Let me see. How do we get rid of the pet?
This used to be a normal horse, but I've had other people could have like a skeleton
Oh my
pet
god,
or
you're
a magma
sitting.
cube.
Seriously?